we're still allowed to say that, but happy 2023! Wow, it's so good to have you back. Welcome back to Becoming a Polyglot. I mean, it's been a long time since I uploaded a video on YouTube. So therefore, as you can see by the title, I want to share with you what I've been doing in 2022, little recap moments, share the stories that I haven't been sharing on my YouTube channel, sadly, I know, and also see what 2023 has in store for me, as I'll be sharing some very exciting news, I think. Yes, so grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, and without further ado, let's just get started. So I want to start off with an experience that was by far the most out of my comfort zone ever, and that was my Spanish minor. If you're in your 3rd or 4th year of your bachelor studies here in Holland, you can choose a minor, which is about a semester. I started in February and it ended in July. Yeah, in July. And I did it in the Spanish language and culture, which was by far the most interesting half year I ever had, to be honest, as I didn't know anything about the Spanish culture, about Latin America, so that was super interesting. I do have to say the Spanish lessons were really long and hard, but I ended it on an A2 level, so that's... I'm proud. I'm proud of myself. That was good. But why was it out of my comfort zone? Well, I had to go abroad by plane to Spain. And if there's one thing I'm anxious about, was going to a place that I wasn't familiar with and going by plane. So that was very interesting. In May or April, me and my friend who also did the same minor went to Madrid for 3 days. He estado en España durante 10 días, 3 días en Madrid y 7 días in Valencia. So I can already hear you say, 10 days, Vera, that's not that long. No, I know. I know, but it felt like a really long time because I got homesick and planes. Other than that, it was a wonderful trip. I changed my lock screen every day to a different picture. I was amazed by how incredibly beautiful Spain is. So we went there to do a project and we had to interview several people in Spanish, of course. And as you can see on my vlogs, that didn't go all too well.
Español ahora, para mi minor, no lo sé en español. Está porque yo aquí yo hablo francés también. C'est muy difícil.
So therefore I have not edited out of my vlogs because I think this is more realistic. As you can see, we struggle. These languages are really intertwined in my mind, so yeah, that was fairly interesting. But I did notice when you're at one place longer than 6-7 days that you get into the language fairly quickly and easily, and my Spanish progressed really well, and I think that you can see that in my vlogs as well, that it went better over time. And I had some really nice conversations with people, and I actually added all of them to my social media, to my LinkedIn, so I still keep in touch with them, the people that I interviewed. That's really nice, because that way I can keep up my Spanish as well, because I of course know that when you pause learning a language for too long, that you forget most of it. So I passed my minor with a 7 out of 10 on average. 10 is the highest mark you can get here. If you haven't seen my vlogs, I would highly recommend watching them. Honestly, when I feel down, I watch my own vlogs to Spain. I know that's weird. I also got a tattoo there. This reminds me that I did that on my own, that I went to Spain on my own. I stepped on that plane. The Love Yourself tattoo from BTS, with this one I drew myself. And then I got it tattooed in Valencia. So you could say that I checked off my boxes, my goals for 2022 in regards to the Spanish language. It was a wonderful experience. On to the next language and the next story, because I got a lot of questions about this. What am I doing at the Korean embassy? As you may know or seen on my YouTube channel, in 2022 I vlogged a short day trip to Amsterdam, where I went to the Korean Culture Festival hosted by the Korean Embassy in the Netherlands. It was super busy, super crowded, but such an amazing experience because there was all these market stands and food. I ate a Korean corn dog for the first time in my life, which was amazing. Bought some kimchi. I honestly will say I'm interested in doing something else with my languages other than teaching it. So working at an embassy could be a possibility. I saw that the Korean Embassy was having a job opening for a digital supporter, and I applied with a link of my vlog. And actually I got chosen. 4 people were chosen, and we were the digital supporters of the Korean Embassy for half a year. So I started in August and it ended just in December. And what that actually entails is that we were translating content that we got from the Korean Embassy in Korea. Well, they sent it to us in English. We had to translate that to Dutch, and that will be posted on the Instagram page. But also every month we as digital supporters would be making 2 extra contents for the social media pages. So if you're curious what I did, just take a look at the Korean Embassy Instagram page, and at the very last slide you will see whether I made it or some of my other colleagues made the post that you're looking at. I think by far one of my favorite posts to make was the post about RM. In November, I remember I told my colleagues, RM is coming out with a new album, his first actual solo album. Can I make an Instagram post about that? And I was allowed to do that, so check that one out. Did I learn Korean in the meantime? No, I actually didn't, but that's okay because I did learn more about the Korean culture as we were making these posts about certain festivals, cultural events that I didn't even know existed. So it was a lot of, well, researching. I was able to make several posts about topic exams. As I was going to partake in a topic exam. I didn't. Yeah, I applied because I was so incredibly happy that it was finally back. You were finally able to do it, to apply, to take the exam. So I applied for topic 1. I studied the entire summer. Literally the entire summer. So my Instagram page mostly consists out of Korean workbooks, notes, study with me's reels about Korean, and I ended up not taking the exam. That was because I actually made a mistake myself, thinking I could do it, and it did not work out. Perhaps also because I was a bit confused with the Chinese HSK exams and the topic 1 exam. They're completely different. For HSK it was rather easy. I did it back when 300 words was still HSK 1. I think it's changed already. But for topic, there wasn't any list of words that you needed to know. With Chinese, you did have a list. Just know these 300 words and you're good to go. And with Korean, I saw a list of 1,000 words, of 2,000 words, of 3,000 words. I didn't know where to start. And by reading the Hangul alphabet, by writing the Hangul alphabet, you're not there. Right then and there I got into the point that I didn't enjoy studying it anymore because I was pressuring myself to partake in the exam. I made a start, I made a beginning. I actually think I've come really, really far, but it wasn't good enough for the exam. Of course I could have just tried, but when I did the practice exam I thought I can't even read it. So then I knew this is a step that I'm not ready for yet. So hopefully this year, but I don't know honestly. Yeah, I don't know. 3 days ago I received my certificate from the Korean Embassy that I was a digital supporter. Also got it in English. For my next studies this might come in as useful when looking for an internship or perhaps a future job. It's always nice to have an experience such as this one. It was also my first experience as a translator. Whenever I look at translation jobs from English to Dutch, I always see that you need to have a certain amount of experience, which I don't have because I'm experienced in being a teacher, not being a translator. So this is the first step, and that's very good. I'm very, very happy with that. So that was it for my Korean experience this year. I never expected at the end of the year I would be working for the Korean embassy. I mean, yeah, it was a fun experience. As I mentioned once again in this video, I'm an English teacher. I've been teaching individually for 2 years right now. This is my 2nd year, I mean. And yeah, it's my 4th year of my bachelor studies, so I'm almost done. But there was one big goal that I needed to pass. And that was the CPE. The CPE is the Cambridge Proficiency exam in a C2 level of English. I am currently editing a video about the CPE, what it entails, what I needed to do, how I studied for a C2 level exam. Like I said, I passed. I got an official certificate from the Cambridge Institute with my name on it. I got a C2 score. With 200 points you have passed the exam. I got 204 points, so I barely passed it. But anyways, it doesn't matter. C2 is C2. I got a C2 level of English. Yes! In order to have my bachelor's diploma, I needed to get this CPE certificate proving that I was able to master the English language. I was absolutely not certain about achieving this goal. When I wrote it down on my Instagram as well, I'm going to achieve the C2 level. Actually, a week later, I found out that I did not pass the first exam. And I was devastated about that, honestly, because this exam is really, really difficult. It's definitely no joke. Knowing how the exam is, what you need to do, what you can expect, I was much better prepared for the second time. I went in there. It's a weekend long. I feel like I'm already going to say a lot about the exam. Just watch my other video and it will come up soon on my YouTube channel. As I'm in my 4th year, I'm almost done. And I found out that I don't want to be a teacher anymore. Bam, I just put it out there. I don't want to be a teacher anymore. This year has taught me a lot. Perhaps I haven't been working on my languages as I did the year before that, in 2021. I actually worked in the language and cultures of the languages that I'm learning, if that makes sense. Like working for the embassy, learning about the Spanish culture, going abroad. I worked at a Chinese restaurant for 7 months as well. So I was surrounded more by the languages. And that made me realize something. Right now I'm teaching English, and my, well, I could say skills, interests, cannot be defined in just one language, just the English language. It can also not be defined by teaching. Right now I teach at a middle school, and I enjoy doing that, don't get me wrong, but I don't see myself do this. I also find it somewhat a lonely job. I'm at home preparing all my lessons, grading other tests. Not to downgrade anyone or anything, or the job in particular, because being a teacher is a very, very nice job and we need more teachers, especially in Holland. We lack teachers. Perhaps that's why the pressure is also very high, I don't know. Okay, so taking my enthusiasm of telling stories and the love for language and cultures that I have, I thought, how can I combine that? What could I possibly do? There is a studies at the University of Utrecht, which is called, in Dutch, Taal- en Cultuurstudies, which translates to English as Language and Culture Studies. Within this studies, within this bachelor studies, yeah, I'm doing a 2nd bachelor studies, you can choose one language as your major basically, and you can choose all your subjects around it. So a bit of art history, a bit of general history, a bit of religion, psychology, how languages are learned, intercommunication, politics, everything combined, how you like to form it. And right now my current bachelor's is just one road, and this road leads to being a teacher. And that's okay. I mean, if you are passionate about that, like a lot of my fellow peer students are, then that's great. But I found out that I am right now not ready to be a teacher. for the rest of my life, or at least for the upcoming years. I don't want that. And right now I have a good opportunity to taking a second bachelor, which is not common to do so. But I found a way to make it happen so I can choose again. I want to choose again. I want to be able to decide my path, where I want to go, and how I'm going to integrate the skills that I've learned as a teacher, but also the skills that I've learned by learning all these languages, by my YouTube channel, by working at the embassy, by writing my social media posts, by translating. How can I integrate all of that into studies? And this was the perfect solution for me. My Spanish minor actually made me think about my current job and what it is that I don't like about it. I got some really inspiring teachers at my Spanish minor who were not only a teacher but also journalists and translators. And being able to teach at a university, you can go more in depth about the language and culture that you're teaching. And right now I'm teaching the present continuous every week to my pupils, so that's different. So perhaps I do want to be a teacher and get a master's degree in it, so I'm able to teach at universities as well, a bit more specific, but that's for later in the future. So I applied for the language and culture studies at the University of Utrecht, and I will start in September 2023. So this year. Yes! Oh, I'm so excited! So I can already hear you ask, which language are you going to choose? Because you can only choose one. Very excitingly, they added Chinese last year, so that will make my decision even harder. But perhaps there are some Chinese electives that I could choose along with French or Spanish, because I think I'm going to choose for either French or Spanish. My mom is like, choose French! You always want to learn French! Choose French! I think my French friends are also like, choose French! But I'm actually leaning more towards Spanish, only because I'm better at it. I think it's more easy. I still have half a year to decide what I'm going to do, what I'm going to choose. Half a year, more than half a year. Just some memorable moments from 2022. I've been on some great holidays, Spain of course. I also went to Luxembourg and I learned the freaking Luxembourgish language.
And Charlotte, swatzen wir Luxembourgisch? English. English? No Luxembourgish? No.
Yeah, I did that. That was a very fun experience. Definitely watch my Luxembourgish vlog part 2. There you can see me speak in the Luxembourgish language and find out that it's not actually a written language but only a spoken language. So therefore not a lot of people actually knew it. I also went to Metz, France. I was on the same trip. Of course, France. And I decided to meet up with my French friend in Ghent. Ghent is in Belgium. In regards of my Chinese language, I've worked for 7 months at a Chinese restaurant in a village nearby. I started with that job thinking it would be just for the summer break, for the summer holidays, but I ended up working there for 7 months. It was just really nice. They spoke Chinese the entire time, and it's crazy to see how quickly you can still understand each other. And I learned a lot of new phrases and words that have everything to do with a kitchen, a restaurant, which I of course haven't learned with my Chinese workbooks. So that was very fun. The stupidest thing is that I quit the job, by the way. I started learning Chinese again after I quit there. To see, can I still read anything? And I was opening my Hello Chinese app to see if I could still read an HSK1 text. And I was happy to know that I could still remember a lot of the characters, because like I mentioned, when you pause your language learning, especially something like Chinese or Korean, you will forget it really quickly, and that's just it's so sad. honestly. The HSKK exam was planned for 2022, the HSKK 1 exam, the speaking exam, that didn't go through because there were very little exams planned this year. There are actually more exams planned 2023, so that's a good thing that I will apply, because I still think that I can partake in the speaking exam. I am confident that I can do that. It's the writing part of HSK3 that will be the most interesting for me. But no, I'm still dedicated to HSKK1, and I think I can study for that this year. So I will move that goal from 2022 up until... So I will move that goal from 2022 to 2023. Lastly, I want to end with thank you so much for following me along. Also for the comments whether I've been doing okay, because I wasn't on YouTube for a long time. I have been doing okay. Thank you. I appreciate you guys checking in on me. This is going to be a very long video, so I might as well just end it right now. And I'm going to edit 2 new videos, this one of course, and the one about the CPE exam. So if you're interested in seeing how I studied for a C2 level exam, definitely stay tuned, give a like, subscribe, mostly subscribe, and you won't miss my next video. If you have anything that you want to hear, to see, to know, do let me know in the comments, and I will definitely consider making a video. Alright, thank you so much for following me along, and I hope to see you very soon this year. Bye!